Our first story is about Saint Valentine. Hey everybody! Miss you! And I miss being here in this space. I tried to put like a cute Valentine's Day background and it wasn't working, and I didn't have enough fabric. Anyway, that's what's going on back there. It's just some back corners, then some extra yardage over here, and then I have a backdrop that looks kind of weird put all together like that. But anyway, I wanted it to look like Valentine's Day-ish, so pinks and reds. I'm here because I wanted to tell you that the Steph Momo Show is just on pause during COVID. It is going to be coming back after all the health scare is over with COVID. Ohio went on like another lockdown, and we aren't supposed to travel, and the masks and everything. And my mom, she takes care of and watches her parents who live close to her, and she doesn't want to bring anything home to them, which is understandable. So I had this idea to do a different kind of video. I've been planning this out. I have a couple shows that I'm going to be posting on Fridays in place of the Steph Momo Show. So I'm going to be sewing a couple projects, or one project per video, and I'm going to be telling you a story at the same time. So today is going to be about Saint Valentine, and I made a project for Valentine's Day. It's a table runner, and as I'm telling you about Saint Valentine, you can watch me put this project together. So obviously I filmed it at a different time. I won't be making it as I go. So this will be all edited together and look hopefully a lot cleaner and crisper. So that is the format. That's just kind of the idea I have, and I don't know how it will be received. If you like it, just let me know below. Or if you have any ideas for shows or history, just put it in the comments. I'm just kind of floating some ideas on how to interact with you and have this little community go forward. Okay, let's get into our first story. Our first story is about Saint Valentine. Now, there isn't a whole lot of information about Valentine. His Latin name is Valentinus. So Valentinus was rumored to be more than one person, but several Valentine people. Valentinuses? Valentinuses? Anyway, Valentine, there are so many rumors and like little stories and little vignettes. We are talking 3rd century here, okay? We don't have any written words from Saint Valentine. So I kind of jumped ahead for Saint Patrick, and he wrote a whole lot of stuff about his life. I don't have anything for Saint Valentine except the stories that have been passed down. But what I found, I kind of compiled into what seems to be probably the closest to Valentine, and there's little vignettes and little stories, little rumors, I don't know, old wives' tales, that kind of stuff that has been passed down, and I've kind of compiled them into this pretty interesting story. Okay, so let me set the scene. Okay, we are talking 3rd century. Valentine was born in 226 in Italy. Okay, 226. Just 200 years prior, Jesus was born. Okay, so we have this influx of priests and people of faith and spreading the gospel, going out into Europe, as it were, and spreading the word of Jesus. His last request to his apostles were, go forth and spread the good news. And so we have been in this time where people continue to do this, spread the word of Jesus. And at that time, in the 3rd century, there's a lot of people who had not heard of Jesus and heard of the Christian faith. So the priests or Christians called these people pagans. And every time I hear the word pagan, I think of Dragnet. People Against Goodness and Normalcy. Remember that movie? It's so funny. Pagans at that time, if you were called a pagan, it means that you just weren't of the Christian faith. You had not received or accepted being a Christian and being a believer in Jesus Christ. So pagans were typically people who worshipped other things or worshipped other people. I mean, you had people, still worshiping the gods and the goddesses, or Loki and Odin. You had people who were practicing, witchcraft and nature gods, and it was just different. So when this priest came into your community and he preached the word of Jesus, preaching the word of Jesus in the Gospels and the Christian faith is kind of restrictive to people who are used to doing things on their own and used to doing their own way. And so typically priests weren't received well. However, it was growing in popularity. So Saint Valentine, I can't even believe this. He was my age when he died. So he was 43. 43. Okay. And he would go out into the world, or he would go out into Italy and just try to convert people, just to try to spread the news of Jesus and baptize. He wanted to baptize people. Now, at this time, we need to flip over to the emperor of the area. So the emperor of Italy, Rome, I guess what they called him, the Roman emperor. Now, his name was Claudius Gothicus. Claudius Gothicus was kind of a badass. All right. He didn't have any royal blood or anything. He was this soldier who worked his way up the ranks all the way up to close inside his predecessor's circle. His predecessor was Gallienus, and these names are kind of hard, so just bear with me, please. So Gallienus kind of had him close to the vest, along with some other people in his army, and they would go out and do what they do. They'd be gone for long periods of time, trying to conquer new areas and gain more ground for the emperor, as armies did back in those days. As time went on, Claudius would also participate in those Roman games. Okay, there was a story of him, and this is really sad, and I'm sorry, but it's just a rumor, so it's just a rumor, that he once punched a horse in the mouth and knocked some of its teeth out. Yeah, don't like to hear that. But he also was a wrestler, and he would wrestle in the games, and he was known as kind of somebody you didn't want to mess with. Somebody you just kind of wanted to stay away from. Gallienus turned up dead one night, and the army believed that Claudius himself killed Gallienus, because Gallienus decided to pronounce himself the emperor after Gallienus' death. As you would do, I suppose, if you killed the emperor, you'd be like, okay, I'm the emperor now. And the people were kind of like, this guy's kind of a jerk. I don't know if I want him, being the emperor. In order to gain the favor of the people and the army, he showed mercy to Gallienus's family and his household, his servants and everybody, and spared their lives. And then everybody was happy. Yeah. They let him be emperor. This was 268, the year 268. When he took control, he wanted to increase his army. Now, at that time, we do have Christian men and women and families, and they were having Christian babies. And he noticed that he needed more men signing up to be in his army, to go and fight for him. Well, the men of this day were wanting to stay home with their wives and their kids and, have jobs at home. And they didn't want to be gone for years at a time or risk their lives. So what Claudius did was he declared that marriages be illegal. He wanted these men to sign up to be in his army. And when that happened, Q Valentine, he was out there, preaching about Christianity and preaching about Jesus and, of course, eventually the sanctity of marriage. And he would marry couples in secret. He knew that it was against the law, but he believed in marriage and he believed in courtly love. People want to get married. He thought, I'll just do it in secret. I believe in Jesus and Jesus is number one. Jesus, I'm doing this for God because I believe in this. This is in the Bible. The sanctity of marriage was really important to him. So as he was providing these marriages in secret, he was caught, of course. So Valentine was, I don't even know how this worked back then, but he was on house arrest. And the judge, his name was Asterius, kind of took a liking to Valentine, and he was a pagan. He did not believe in the faith, and he would question Valentine about his faith and wanted to know more. So Valentine would express miracles in the Gospels and Christian beliefs. So Judge Asterius presented Valentine with his foster daughter, who was blind, and said, Valentine, if you cure my foster daughter's eyesight, I will do whatever you want. So what did Valentine do? He put his hands over her eyes and prayed to God to heal her vision. And she was healed. The judge was so thankful and so appreciative of Valentine that he let Valentine go. He also wanted to be baptized, and his whole family was baptized. His servants were baptized. His whole household was baptized by Valentine. So that was pretty cool. And then he said, what else do you want me to do? And Valentine had like a set of suggestions. There was some fasting involved. He had to destroy the idols, let every Christian who was being held like in jail and prison or whatever for their faith, he had to let them go. And the judge did all of those things, and he let Valentine go. So Valentine went on. He kept providing marriages, wedding ceremonies, and secretly. And he was caught again. But this time he went directly to Claudius, Emperor Claudius Gothicus. And Claudius was not happy with Valentine, but he was also taken with Valentine. And they had some conversations, and at one point Valentine thought it was a good idea to try to convert him, and Claudius was not having it and told Valentine to renounce his faith. If he didn't, then he would be beaten with clubs and then beheaded. Now this is where we talk about martyrdom. A martyr is somebody who is basically said, if you don't renounce your faith, or you do something for your faith in the name of your faith, and you are killed for it, then you are a martyr. And that is exactly what happened to Saint Valentine. He was beheaded, he was beaten, and then beheaded on February 14th, 269. And our mean emperor, Claudius, he was emperor for 2 years, from 268 to 270. And Valentine was killed in 269. I mean, just right there in the middle, you know. Claudius got his. He got what was coming to him. He died of the plague in 270. Wah, wah. Like, do you really feel bad for the guy? Not really. But do you feel bad for Valentine? Yes, absolutely. How do we get the whole Valentine, February 14th kind of, how do we get the Valentine holiday? Well, if we were to back up, when he was being held by Claudius, there was some time in there where the lovers, or I guess they'd be couples, like married couples, they would come to where he was staying. I'm guessing it was like a cell, and they would pray for him. They would bring roses and flowers and just grieve for him and what was to come, because they were so grateful and so thankful for what they had done for them. And then here's the good part. Remember that foster daughter that he healed? Okay. This is a rumor and it's speculation, but the daughter, the foster daughter, went to his cell and was just so upset about what his fate was, that she cried and she tried to save him, and he wouldn't do it. He said, I won't renounce my faith. I won't turn my, he wouldn't be a Judas. So she was just devastated. She was really devastated. Now, some people think that they were in love and blah, blah, blah. I don't think so. That's not my gut feeling, because in my research, I think she was a young girl. And even after he cured her eyesight, her father let him go. And he went on and just was doing his own thing. I mean, he didn't stick around and have a relationship with her. I just think, if somebody was to heal your eyesight and then they were, on death row, like you'd be like, this guy makes miracles. He cured my vision. You can't kill him. It was that kind of a relationship and that kind of devotion. And after he was killed, she received a letter from him. Not sure what the letter said, but at the end it said, "Your Valentine." So that is how we in Hallmark, we have the tradition of cards and flowers, and Saint Valentine's also the patron saint of beekeeping, which I thought was interesting because I'm a beekeeper, and the only connection I could put there is that honey is sweet and is sugar, and maybe that's where we get our candies and sweets and stuff for Valentine's from. So that, my friends, is the story of Saint Valentine. So I hope you like it. I have some more coming up. The next one's so good. So good. I don't think you've heard it before. Alright, so now at the end of the video, I'm going to show you the finished product. This table runner, the fabric is Bonnie and Camille, and there's some Lella Boutique in here. So you can see that I had, here's the back. And it's also like the fabric behind me. This is 10 by 21. So these squares are 5 by 5. And when I say 5 by 5, I mean finished. So I cut out 5.5-inch squares, and then after it's finished, it is 5. This is 3 by 3, 3 by 3, 3 by 4. These 4 are 5 by 5, and then I got 2 more 3 by 3s, a 3 by 4, and 5 by 5. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 5 by 5s, 4 3 by 3s, and 2 3 by 4s. I'm not going to write directions for these. These are just, I kind of consider them like my art quilts. It's not something I want to sell, or I don't know. I don't think anybody would be interested in making these. I don't think. So I'll just try to give a quick description. I don't even know. I mean, I'll sketch stuff out and just kind of run with it and just see how it turns out. But that's how I roll. And then I went and used some heat and bond, and I wanted to make these hearts. So you can see this one. I used a heat and bond fusible to iron it down, and then I went around and I did like a stitch around each heart. I call it lazy applique. So there's a close-up of one. So if I were to wash this, or wash it several times, the edges will probably lift up, and I'm okay with that. That's not going to bother me. But you don't have to put those in there if you don't want to. I just kind of did. I wanted to give it some little bit of love. The only thing I don't like is that the fabric shows through on the lighter ones. But it is what it is, and I love it. I really love it. My daughter wanted me to make her something for her seat. That's my next video, is something for Melissa, which I have played out, and it's so cute. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. I am on Facebook. I'm on Instagram. I'm on YouTube. Quilt Swag has shut down temporarily. It just got to the point where we decided that we needed to hire a professional to do this, and we're not in a position to do that quite yet. But when we will, we want to start it right back up, because I think it is a great idea for the quilting community. So look for that in the future. Until next week, happy quilting. We'll see you soon. Bye.